it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are focusing in and zooming in on how to resist a Hoover attempt from a narcissist or a psychopathic individual in your life. Someone who has taken an inordinate amount of your time. Someone who seeks to distract you from really being happy, staying on focus, and doing what is best for you. The emotional violators and manipulators who seek to try to knock you down, knock you, underneath the knees, get you to stumble, fall, be crippled, destroy yourself kind of by a downward spiral through the things that they say, do, and the manners of which they treat you. And also the non-verbal messages with which they will send to try to deter you, distract you, destroy you from really kind of focusing in on what makes you happy, what you do best, owning your own goodness, owning your own truth, owning your own strength, talents, desires, wishes, your own internal voice. Now realize that the narcissist and the psychopath have one goal in mind, and that is oftentimes to win. That is to take control over, to have power over, to have undue influence over you and your life. Why? Because this is what makes them feel effective. This is what makes them feel good. They get aroused. They get a joy, a delight from being a negative influence or distracting you, getting your attention. They are the attention seekers of the world. They are the positive attention seekers, the negative attention seekers. They want all eyes on them. They want all ears on them. They do not really care. In fact, oftentimes, especially in the event of the psychopath, if you are not attending to what you need to attend to, they are just the more thrilled. So if they can distract you and hoover you back in, suck you back in, make you violate yourself, your boundaries, your goals, basically, defer your goals, your needs, your voice, what you need to do, want to do for them, they are feeling all the more delight, joy, and happiness if you are able to basically make that sacrifice and give to them. And so the Hoover attempt oftentimes is that. It's to reclaim their supply. It's to reclaim their posse. They feel so much better. They feel more fulfilled. They feel, validated when you are able to drop everything and attend to them, to give them the support, the back rub, the listening ear, the sounding board. When you're able to fall prey back into their request for social or sexual relations, when they are able to cause you to feel unhappy. They're the button pushers of the world. So they're trying to button push you, oftentimes in the Hoover attempt, to try to get you to lose it, to feel angry, to set you off, to get you to basically fall off the hinges, come undone, fall off the rails, whatever it is. Especially the psychopath, they will seek to get you to basically react. So if you can react, they are feeling like they are in power and in control. So there's very much a difference between reacting and responding. So oftentimes the people who have really gotten into it too deep, too thick, they did not, unconsciously, unbeknownst to them, they did not realize that they were getting sort of entrapped, enmeshed into this type of relationship where they're reacting, giving to them attention, time, energy. And it became more and more and more where it basically eroded you and your boundaries. These people love to violate the boundaries. What it is you have is what they want. So if it's time, energy, space, money, they are going to encroach upon you. You've heard the expression, cramp your style. You feel like you can't behave yourself. That's what these people are doing. That is the Hoover attempt. It's a test. It is a test that you need to pass and live beyond, and to get yourself out of that testing pattern where they're not constantly trying to test you and hoover you in. They're going to try to say things, use the projection, emotional manipulation techniques. You never do this. It's okay for you to do this, but it's not okay for me. So they're going to use the mind games, the projection, the brainwashing, the gaslighting, the cognitive dissonance to make you doubt yourself. And they're going to push, push, push. And they will push the line. Remember, this is what the emotional manipulator will do. But if you can become unoffendable, basically undistractable, come from a real state of neutrality and indifference, that is a personal emotional strength and boundary which you have the right to and need to protect. So they're going to, it's habituated. So if you are dealing with a narcissist who has been, or a psychopath who has been in your life for a while, they're going to keep that pattern going. They're going to keep, it's kind of like, a fish. If you've ever gone fishing and, that fish, if they bite on the worm, you're going to tug at it and you're going to try to pull it out of its water. So that's kind of what like the narcissist or the psychopath is going to do. They're going to try to get you to bite on that hook, bite on that Hoover attempt. So once you bite on it, they're basically in control. They're going to yank you out of your element, put you, out of your happiness, out of your self-belief and your self-trust, and really that is your natural state. But if they've yanked you out of that state for so long that it no longer feels comfortable, so it's kind of like they've made you such a fish out of water that you have been gasping for air, you're not feeling right, you're feeling uncomfortable, you feel like you're not in your element. This oftentimes is because you have reacted so many times to their attempt that now it's becoming a way of life, or feels normal, or feels like an obligation, or you are controlled by that fear, that guilt, just to constantly, yes, I'm going to fall for it. I'm going to fall for it. I'm going to fall for it. And when you can begin to identify, that's when I was falling for their Hoover attempts. I was falling for their insinuations that I am this, I am that. I see the knee-jerk reaction that was created within me to fall prey back into their Hoover attempts, or where I was emotionally manipulated by them, emotionally controlled by them. I had inadvertently lowered myself and put myself in a vulnerable position where I was basically allowed myself to be emotionally wounded, or physically wounded, financially wounded, spiritually wounded, and I feel very exhausted, very depressed, very unhappy, like can no longer find my joy, my happiness anymore. Realize that the Hoover attempt often is an attempt at that. So whether it's a text, whether it's a picture, whether it's an email, whether it's just, a holiday or a birthday, and you feel like, you're even, interacting with the Hoover attempt, and you're like, well, maybe I should go back and do this now. You're opening yourself up to the violation of these types of people. And it is unfortunate, it is sad, it is painful, it is difficult, and it is bizarre. And I apologize that that there are these types of people who are in positions of responsibility, or your family members who have violated you in this way, and you almost feel like, well, family should not do this to each other. Well, this happens. Narcissists have children. Borderline people have children. Psychopathic people have children. They have spouses. They have people who are close to them who are easy for them to violate and scapegoat on repeatedly. So if you are one of these people, realize that, you have to go through the process and basically understand that this is who they are, and to stop the denial process. Stop saying, I wish that they were different, or I can make them different, or I think that if I, am this in this way, that they would no longer target me in this way. You are fooling yourself. You're basically giving yourself a lot of excuses. You're feeding yourself a bunch of lies. and you are not, accepting of the truth. And if you are not accepting of the truth, you are just making life more difficult for yourself. And so if you can ask yourself, how have I been falling prey to their lies? Because these individuals will bank on the illusion and the lies and the pathology, and they will basically, they act by lack of empathy. Without empathy, they really do not care if you are suffering. They're not going to be there to lend a helping hand in the way that you need it. You've seen this before. You've felt this before. You know this before. But people tend to want to pull the wool over their eyes, and I wish it wasn't so. I'm going to make it not so. They want to bury their head in the sand. Ask yourself, what am I lying to myself about this? Am I accepting their lies, or am I now strong enough, have courage enough, and bravery enough to say I'm no longer being fed by their lies, and I'm no longer making it possible for myself to accept their lies either. And I know what I know, and I'm strong enough. I have courage enough. I have bravery enough. I have self-respect enough. I have faith enough in not only in myself, but the understanding and acceptance that the universe will furthermore support me at large with my decision. So when you can look at it from that spiritual perspective and understand that there are forces, the Force, Star Wars, that will go to help you, support you, and help feed you the truth, to help feed you the support. The universe will help feed you the courage, the bravery, conviction, and trust, and getting used to that new feeling of trust within, that new feeling of self-protection within, that is good, right, possible, and that your happiness and your joy is your number one goal and responsibility. When you can embrace that, you will realize that you can then identify and then deflect the Hoover attempts, and you'll realize that you are doing the right thing by protecting yourself, even though it hurts, even though it shouldn't be so, even though it seems illogical that this has occurred in your life. It is what it is, and it is so. And you have to let it be. It is what it is. Stop deflecting the truth. Stop denying the truth. Accept the truth and knowing what is best for you, and begin to feel positive and okay with allowing yourself to have the lighter feelings of joy, happiness, and letting go of the manipulation, the toxic, the toxic emotional manipulation. Let go of those strings that they have hooked into you, and let them go, and let them, continue with the way that they are. Don't try to make the relationship different than other than what it is. When you can really begin to accept that, and then have that courage, conviction, and trust within yourself, that faith within yourself, and let go of that fear, the obligation, the guilt that they have instilled in you, you'll find that you can operate in a much more peaceful, harmonious manner that allows you to just be. And then from that be state, you can then begin to act out of safety, security, trust, love. And then that results in the happiness, the joy, and allows you to move through life a lot more freely. Not only move through life a lot more freely, but attract people who will validate you, embrace you, and adore you for who you are versus who they're trying to control you to be just to serve them. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.